Hi, Leif. How are you
Hi, Rebecca.
doing?
I'm very fine. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview. Very much appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Absolute pleasure. So, could you just introduce yourself and tell us what your current role is and what you did at the Nürburgring and drifting? We want to hear that.
Hello, my name is Leif Cron. I'm 35 years old, and currently I'm a relationship coach. I'm an expert in terms of relationships. I'm helping businessmen and business owners to, yeah, um, get back into their relationship and have a happy and good relationship at home, because it always reflects back on the relationship. And before that, I was working as an instructor for several companies, and I was self-employed by my own. But I was coaching at the Nürburgring as well, at Spa-Francorchamps, several racetracks, Hockenheimring here in Germany, and I was also, coaching as a drift coach.
Amazing. That sounds like such a dream job. Why did you stop to be a relationship coach?
I stopped because I had some kind of private crisis when I was really thinking about my future in terms of future family, my current family, about my responsibility for the future, even for my unborn kids. And I needed some change for my own. Yes, it was a dream job, but I didn't own the cars. So it was like having a beautiful rendezvous, but you can never meet the woman of your dreams. And I really, really want to do that. So I needed to find another way.
And you did.
I did.
Amazing. So, obviously, when you were doing this dream job, you must have really enjoyed it and had some awesome, awesome moments. What would you say was your best moment in a car? What was the car and what happened?
So many, several moments. I remember one moment. It was the first time flying at in a Porsche GT3 RS. First time flying at Pflanzgarten 2 at the Nürburgring. It's you're coming over the cliff over the bump,
Yeah.
and the car is going nearly 2 meters to the right side, and you're completely in the air. That's not a normal place to be in the air, but it was very, very intense. But I just kept it nearly flat, and it was luck, I would say, to keep it on the road, because I never expected the car to lift, because Porsche sometimes can be very light on the front axle, and when the air is coming under the car, it lifts. But there was a very, very intense moment, and that was also a sign for the development of the car, because I had so much trust. It was an GT3 RS 991.2, so the second generation of the last GT3 series, and was the last car I actually drove on the Nürburgring. And it was I had so much confidence in the car that happened. So
That's incredible.
it tells you a lot about the car.
And did you stay calm throughout this entire moment, or how did you feel?
A little bit like this, and then when you see the videotape later, you sense that you have to be crazy that you actually do this, because when you start driving on the Nürburgring, or when you start developing your skills in a car, when you see pictures on the television, sometimes it seems to be crazy. Looks so crazy, and then you're doing it with a 520 horsepower car on a track, that's already risky with 100 horsepower.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're going just so much further, and sometimes you lose the relationship to your reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Incredible. And what you're describing is borderline more like rallying than track circuit racing and driving, because rally drivers are quite used to the car being loose or in the air and in what most circuit racers would deem as incredibly scary situations. And so do you think that that is something that can be said of the Nürburgring, that actually it requires the courage of a rally driver, or the bravery of a rally driver?
I would say yes. I think, in my opinion, everything is needed on the Nürburgring. You know, it's mentally so tough to be concentrated and to be focused on every single corner. And that's why drivers have to be physically, absolutely 100% fit to drive there. When I coached there, and I never coached, or I never drove more than an amount of 4 laps in a row with a customer. I never did that. And the third lap was always the best with an experienced driver, and the fourth lap was never that good as the third lap.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the concentration is going down. So you need to work with brakes, because it's mentally 80% of the corners are completely blind. Yeah. You know that, you drove there. You know.
Yeah, I raced there in an M235i, and yeah, it's a circuit like no other. It's a circuit that you can think which part you're on, and then you're not. And I have nowhere near as much experience at the ring as you do, and it was thrilling and exciting. But yeah, it's a tricky one to learn.
Yeah, you have to, when you go on YouTube. You can expect anything on the Nürburgring. So when you go on YouTube, you can enter, you can drive, you can type in Nürburgring 24 hours 2000. I guess it was 17. But there was sun and
hailstones, yeah,
and all this, and it was completely carnage.
Yeah,
and I experienced that as well. I had sun, I had rain, and I had even snow on one lap.
I mean, that's just crazy, absolutely crazy. And I know a lot of the cars, we can switch the traction on and off, but you can't change the tires halfway around. You are using what you've got on the car.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's just to be there. And I would love everybody to do that. Just go there, and when it's late and everything is closed, sneak yourself on the track and just walk a little bit. We did it.
We did. Yeah.
You made the experience of all that you were there, and you cannot imagine how it is on a simulator. You cannot even imagine how it is or how it is on a car.
Yes. Yeah.
You walk the track, then you suddenly understand why your car is always bumping, or why it is sometimes it feels like there's no power at all.
Yeah. You don't really get the scale of that until you actually walk it, do you? Which is why we used to do a track walk at every race weekend, because it was the only way really to get a true feel for, I've got a parcel coming through the door. The joys of working at home in lockdown. At least it wasn't ringing on the bell. Yeah, you only get a scale for it with the different track surfaces and undulations. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Walking the circuit, you've got to do it every time you drive a circuit. It's so important to walk it.
The surfaces also change in the middle of the corner. So when you drive it and it's like a little bit wet,
yeah,
it's so you have grip, no grip, no grip at all. So you really have to know where's the grip. Sometimes there's just new tarmac on the outside and old tarmac on the inside, and on the outside it's grippy, and the inside it's not. And in the next corner it's completely around. So it's impossible to know exactly how to drive it. You just have to do it. There are some certain lines, but with a different tire and a different car, it's a complete different game.
Wow. And how many years driving on the ring did you do? And I mean, how many hours or how many laps do you think you've done?
More than 1,000 laps, and about 5 years.
Yeah. And would you say you know it?
No.
Do you think anyone ever really truly knows the ring?
Yeah, I would say your relationship with a track can be quite strong. It's like if you are a man, if you are a racing driver and you are married to the most beautiful woman on earth, she will always have and keep their secrets. No matter how close you come. And if you don't respect her, and if you lose just a little bit, if you don't give her attention enough, and if you don't respect her enough, she can bite like crazy.
I love that analogy.
So you get some kind of relationship, but if you don't respect her and if you're not careful, just for a blink of an eye, you're lost.
It is a momentary lapse of concentration, isn't it? You have to concentrate. I mean, you have to concentrate anyway with racing, but at the ring or in adverse conditions, and then the ring and adverse conditions together, it's just another level, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So I have some questions here. My amazing VIP members have posted a few questions in our closed Facebook group, and I would like to ask them to you. So the first question is, what is the hardest corner at the Nürburgring to get right?
The next one. So it really depends on the car. As I told you, 80% of the corners are blind. For me personally, there's one corner, we call it miss it miss, because it's a triple right, and at the first part of the corner you miss the apex, the second part on the middle card you hit it, and the last part you miss it, and you can lose a lot of speed in that section. It's completely blind. What do we have as well? Metzgersfeld. Mm-hmm. It's after Foxhole, then Adenauer Forst, short straight, and then there's a left very fast. I think it's about 110 miles. Depends on the car and the tire. And every single time, in every single car, every single lap, I was too careful. And in the middle of the corner, you see, it could have been faster, just a little bit. But you don't have to. You just don't have the guts to take it that fast. But it's still possible. Then we have some kind of corner on the long way up after Bergwerk. It's completely blind, and you can take it with about 170, 180. It's the
kilometers an hour.
Mutkurve and Courage Corner. It's completely blind, and you don't see the apex when you drive in. And then there's another one, Hedwigshöhe with Porsche. It's quite tough because the Porsche, when you the tarmac and the bumps on the track are tricky when you drive really fast, because the Porsche and the weight balance on the back of the car, you really have to do left foot braking and acceleration to keep the tense on the car. And sometimes my pedals were like this when you drive at the limit to keep the tense in the car. Otherwise, you're gone. You can handle with your. You don't even think you can do it with your hands. You really have to be very careful. So there's not a single corner I would say it's easy to go or easy to get it right.
And how hard is that to teach? I mean, when I drove the 911 Cup car, we had our seats, so it's left-hand drive, we had our seats molded so that we had to left foot brake. You know, the team manager, any new driver to the team, he said, do you left foot brake? And if somebody said no, he said, well, you do now. There is no option. We mold your seat so that your foot is in line with the brake pedal, and that's what you do. So how hard did you find that to teach to others?
Do you mean left foot braking or the corners?
Left foot braking and the corners.
Left foot braking, I didn't teach left foot braking, to be honest. I let the customer stick to what he was used to.
Yeah, safest probably.
Yes, because my life is in danger.
Yeah.
Try something which he's not used to. He has enough to do to learn the track. So it needs a little bit of time, and the hardest thing to teach the customers is the respect of the track, the respect for the track, and also take your time. The worst customer is the customer who says, yeah, I want to do 2 laps and that's it. Because they want to do 2 laps and then they want to experience speed on the Nürburgring, how it feels like. Have you been on the ring before? No. Okay, then book another lap and another one.
Yeah. And what would you say was a good lap time for somebody's first time at the ring?
I remember my first time at the ring. It was an 8:45 with old cars in an E36 328. It was my first time on the ring. I did hundreds of laps on the simulator before.
I was going to say, I'm kind of a little bit speechless here that was your first time in the ring. It goes to show how much you can learn on a simulator.
Oh, how stupid I am. Oh, I was. I would rather say this because there was a lot of luck in this lap as well. Could have been faster, but couldn't have been more stupid. But the E36 is still my most favorite car because it was my first car. I still love the car to death. And what was the question?
The question was, what would be a good lap time for a novice at the Nürburgring?
A novice at the Nürburgring. Oh, I'm sorry, a novice. The best lap time for a novice would be the lap time that you arrive at the finish line before the track close again. So the main thing is make it safe.
Make it safe back.
Then it would be great if you do 10 minutes, 11 minutes, 11:30 or something. When you drive there the first time, don't drive like a snail. Don't brake, but just drive, be concentrated, and use your mirrors. That's very important. Don't be too careful. Watch the track before you go there, because when you go there, it's too late. But I think, 11 minutes is a cool thing.
Cool.
Don't make it count.
Just go there and enjoy it. Okay, so the next question from one of my VIPs is, which would you rather take on the Nürburgring for sheer driving pleasure? The BMW E46 CSL or a Porsche GT3, and why?
Ooh. It's very tough. It's very tough to say. I love them both to bits, but I think I would take the CSL just because it was my childhood dream car, and the sound of the airbox is so amazing.
This is the E46.
E46 CSL, yes. But it's very hard to answer because the box is screaming in your back. Is is very, very intense as well. But I think I would take the CSL. Because I love the car. I love the handling. I love the GT3 as well, but I love my bond was BMW when I first started driving, when I learned to drift. And it was always, for me personally, this will always be the most beautiful BMW ever made. And I think it's just this relationship and the sound of the airbox. It's killing me.
Well, there you go. That's the answer to that one then. You helped me buy my E36 M3 because you know so much about what information you can find from the VIN number in terms of the factory it was made in, genuine M car, little dimples on the lights, like all these techie details.
Facelift, facelift, and all the things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know why they have those dimples on the light?
No. What are they for?
Air noise.
No way.
Yeah. All the modern cars are like perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love the old cars. I appreciate the new cars as well. As I told you, the GT3 RS, the last one, is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But I love it when you get into the car, the old cars, when they are completely stripped.
Yeah.
And you go to the door and you open the door, clong, and then you get into the car, bang, and the roof is swinging, and then you make cars are like click.
That is quite true.
There's a lot of charisma in the old cars, isn't it?
Yeah, they do. They really do. And they seem to have their own smells as well, don't they? So the absolutely. Old BMWs have got a smell. Old Porsches have got a smell.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And there's something in the car, in a Porsche or in a BMW M car or a GT car. There's something in it which seems to be human. There's something living in it. I cannot describe.
Yeah.
Of course, it's just material, but it's not.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You can definitely fall in love with metal. You really can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I have cried when I've sold cars before.
Oh,
it's normal and healthy.
Yeah, I think it's just the relationship and the bond you have with the car, with all the experiences you were allowed to have.
Yeah.
It's like little relationship you're going on a vacation with.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I had a Nissan 100 NX, which, on the face of it is not a particularly interesting car. It's quite slow. It's basically a Nissan Sunny with a more streamlined, more sports car-esque body. And it was carburetor, and I think it was a 1.3 or something, 0 to 60 in about 11 seconds or 10.5 seconds, something like that. So not earth-shattering. However, I did compete in it. I competed in auto tests and had some success. And when it was time to sell it, my friend that I was living with at university, she said, "Oh, is it like watching a child go off to university, all kind of naive and sort of, happy, sweet about it?" And then she looked at me and I was crying. And she said, "Oh, it is, isn't it?"
It is. I know. I remember exactly when I sold my E39 M5. I was crying and I felt stupid on the same time because it's just a car. It's just a car. It's just a car. Yeah, but you share so much, and
you do. Yeah.
Petrol heads are different. You just respect them and be fascinated, and maybe you can share the joy when you enter the world.
Yeah, I like it. So I have a few more questions for you. How long did it take you to learn the ring properly?
I still learn the ring properly, I think about 20 laps. On a good day, on a good track, on a good day with a good instructor, with the proper car and the right attitude, do 20 laps, and you can be quick and safe.
Yeah. Because you do need to be quick enough. I mean, when I competed over there, I had to do e-learning and classroom learning and then a practical test to make sure that, you know, they are safe enough to let out onto the race. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay, so the next question is, what is the best racing line when you drive through carousel?
The best racing line is when you enter carousel about 30 meters after the white brackets begin, the white how do you call it, surface, and you enter then a little bit later, and when you come out on the last quarter, so you drive, you leave it, they are all on the floor. They are, so you leave with the middle of the car, take the edge of the last quarter with the middle of the car.
Okay. You're going to apologize for your English, and I'm thinking, well, it's a lot better than my German. The only thing I can remember from German lessons is "Wie komme ich am besten zum Bahnhof bitte?" and you'll probably correct me on the pronunciation.
Das war sehr, sehr gut.
Yeah, please, I can ask the question, but I won't understand the answer.
It was very good.
Thank you. All right, great. So what is the most common mistakes novices make when driving the ring? And what's your favorite car to drive around the ring? That's coming from the same person.
My favorite car is an E36 M3, completely stripped, empty, and ready to race. Because it's very pure, it's very honest, there's a lot of feedback, and it's not too old. You can be still bloody quick today, even for today's standard. You can do 7 minutes something in that car. Wow. Which is quite amazing. Really? Yeah, bridge to gantry. Not a full lap, but bridge to gantry.
Okay, yeah.
And then the most common mistakes is, just to come and just do one lap.
Okay.
Because that one lap,
it's not teaching you enough.
It's not teaching you enough. And the attitude is, hey, I'm at the Nürburgring, I just do one lap. And what do? You put your foot down. And it's very risky. Yeah. And the second mistake is, you're not prepared. So you don't watch the line. There are so many people crashing the car on the first lap. Yeah, we sometimes had crash bingo. It was a game we played sometimes as for the instructors, when we instructors were standing at Adenauer Forst, crash bingo. So how many cars until the first car is going straight? 10? Boom! And the first car, bang, straight, and the wheels up. So it was like, people are very much overestimating their ability and underestimate the track.
And it's expensive when it goes wrong, isn't it? Because you've got to pay for barrier damage, pay for the car being removed from the circuit.
Yes, you have to pay for it all, for all of it.
So a lot of people, car fans in the UK, have got the little Nürburgring stickers that we stick on the back of their road-going cars, and then there's a few stickers which are taking the mickey slightly, and it says Nürburgring, never been there.
That's cool. That's
quite cool. Funny. And I have a mug as a souvenir.
Nice, very nice. I don't have one. It's just have the.
I like that picture. It's a good picture. Okay, we don't have that much longer left actually to go, and I do have some more questions for you. So I have one of my VIP members would like to know what your views are on Porsche transitioning to electric cars and how this will change perceptions and experiences.
To be very, very honest, I was out of this topic because I'm not the biggest fan of electric, and I was not very interested in the topic. But what I can tell you is it's some kind of the future, and I'm very impressed how Porsche is developing or taking electric things into a car like the 918 to support a normal engine. And I was there in 2018 when they were running the lap record on the 919 Porsche, and Timo Bernhard drove the record, and they had I think they had 5 drivers on the day and the days before, and the lap record is actually 19 seconds slower than the lap record they already did in sector times. So if you would add the fastest sector times, would have been 19 seconds faster than the actual lap record.
Yeah.
And they had to switch the drivers a few times because it's mentally just so exhausting. When I first saw the lap, it was like a video game. I was looking to slow the video down, but it was actually real time. It took a while for me to realize what was actually happened there, because it's absolutely insane.
That is insane.
That's the only answer I can give to your wonderful, beautiful member. But I'm sorry, I'm not so much into the electric development of Porsche.
That's right okay. Now. That's okay. That was definitely an answer, and still very enlightening and interesting as well. So the final question, because we know what your favourite car is to drive around the ring, it's an E36 M3 stripped out. So your final question, if you could answer this, is what is the secret to going fast at the ring?
Going clean.
Okay.
Going clean. And take your time. And take a proper instructor and walk it. Just fall in love with the track and take your time and go clean. So
like it.
Yeah, because if you are clean, if you can do something clean, you can do it fast. Mm-hmm. If you are just fast and not clean, you mess up everything. The Nürburgring is one big corner. It's just one corner. Nothing goes straight. Maybe the Dottinger Höhe is straight, but the rest of the track is just not straight. It's just not. And there's for example, Hatzenbach. It's a combination of corners. If you mess up the first one, the rest of it you can forget it. So learn how to drive clean, and be patient.
And now, I haven't got any questions from the VIPs about your drifting because I don't think I put it in the post, or maybe they were just, Nürburgring. So I'm going to just ask you the transition between circuit racing and drifting. I mean, circuit racers generally make appalling drifters because all we want to do is stop the car going into a drift because we're driving on the edge of traction the whole time. We don't want to be losing the traction. And that's something that mentally I had to really get over to drift my E36 at the Drift What You Brung Day at, where did I go? Alton Park. So it's that letting it go and then getting comfortably into it and being like that, rather than, oh my God, I've got to correct this straight away. So, I mean, to do both, tell me a bit more about that.
To do both is an interesting thing, because if you're trained as a racing driver, as you told me, you are, or as you described it, you really try to interrupt every little slide. And this actually tends to make you faster on the track, in my opinion. Yeah, because when you are able to drift, when you know how it feels like, then you like to drift. You like it. So when your back steps out a little bit and you have a little slide here and there, it doesn't bother you. It actually makes fun, but it's not fast.
No.
So you really have to recalibrate your brain as a drifter or when you can drift, that you say, no, I'm not drifting. Clean, 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 clean. And of course, it helps you in the rain a lot.
Yeah.
But drifting and racing, I think it's good for drifters to go on a racetrack because they know where the line is, where the racing line is, because as a drifter, you also have clipping points. And also, it's good for the overall ability for a racing driver to know how it is to drive a car sideways.
Yeah. And how easy did you find it to be recalibrating your brain between drift coaching one day and coaching at the ring the next day?
Very easy.
With practice.
With practice. For me, it was quite easy, but I think it had something to do. Drifting, for me, drifting was always easy, but I think I played drums my early years. So I was used to just separate, to give an action to this arm. Okay, this arm, different order. Left foot, different order. Right foot, different order as well. So I was completely independent with everything. So drifting is everything about independence with your arms and coordination and eyes and view. And I think that's just why it was easy for me. But honestly, when you ask me personally, I enjoyed more the track coaching.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I love drifting for my own, but overall, I love the Nürburgring.
Amazing. You have been awesome today, and it's been so great interviewing you and hearing the answers to all of the questions.
And thank you, Rebecca. Well, it was an honor to be with you and to serve your community.
Oh, thank you.